Today I'm going to be talking to you about one of the most pinnacle points in black history that changed many things for black men and women all around the world. This is more famously known as the Civil Rights Movement. The Civil Rights Movement spanned over 2 decades. It was a movement where black men and women fought for an equal place in their own society. The Civil Rights Movement included many activists such as Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, Jesse Jackson, and Booker T. Washington. The main aim of this movement was to end segregation all over America, but mainly in the South, where Jim Crow's laws were in place. Jim Crow's law were laws that stated certain areas were white areas and that coloured people had their own facilities separate from those who were white. One very famous incident that highlights this was Rosa Parks. Rosa Parks complied to the segregation laws and sat at the back with everyone else who was not white. When a white man got on the bus, he could not find a seat, so the bus driver asked Rosa and 3 other black passengers to move for the gentleman. Rosa refused and was arrested there and then. The word of her arrest ignited the black community and founded the Montgomery Improvement Association, led by Martin Luther King Jr. This placed him front and centre for the Civil Rights Movement. In 1954, the Civil Rights Movement gained a lot of momentum when the Supreme Court disallowed and made it illegal for schools to be segregated. This founded a group of 9 students to trial the new system. They were known as the Little Rock Nine. They found the transition very hard, and it was a struggle the first 2 times. They still found it difficult when the 34th President of America ordered federal troops to escort the Little Rock Nine to and from classes. But alas, it was successful, as we can see today. I would now like to talk to you about 2 very influential men at the forefront of the Civil Rights Movement, both fighting for the same cause, but with different attitudes towards it. These 2 men are Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X. Martin Luther King Jr.'s most famous speech is "I Have a Dream," and Malcolm X's famous speech was "By Any Means Necessary." Martin preached peace and harmony between the 2 races. He saw no other way of ending this inequality. While Malcolm believed the black race should fight fire with fire, both men had held a significant influence over the black community, and both helped the Civil Rights Movement gain the momentum that it finished with. They were both sadly assassinated. I recommend you watch the Netflix documentary, Who Killed Malcolm X? It will inform you of his death and the conspiracies believed to be behind it. Both men left behind a legacy of fighting against the oppression, standing up for what they believe in, and speaking for those who were being silenced. A few days after Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated, the final legislation was passed. This legislation stated that nobody can be discriminated against while buying a house because of the colour of their skin, sex, religion, or national origin, thus ending the Civil Rights Movement. But I want to ask you, where are we today? Have we broken down the hard work of those who have been before us? Are we slipping back into our old ways? To stop this from ever happening again, understand what you are fighting for. Educate yourself on where you stand. When we go into the outside world and vote, research the candidate. Do they have a racial background? This is crucial to ending racism. It is now up to you to change our outlook on racism. I would finally like to finish with an assembly with a quote from the TV show Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which sums up the main reason behind my assemblies this week. You can wear the t-shirts, you can shout the slogans, you can hang up the posters, but unless you know the whole story behind it, you'll trivialise within the entire struggle.